Petage had finally cornered his prey. After months of careful observation, he discovered the witches' main headquarters. With their forces distracted and scattering, he seized the chance to strike, his heart fueled by the memory of the threats made against his wife. Meanwhile, the mood in Baymard was electric. After weeks of testing, the gravitational belts had proven to be a masterpiece of engineering. The military was eager to embrace this new era of aerial warfare, even if they were still learning to master the heights. Proud of her son's genius, Mother Kim remained composed despite the constant pestering of her secretary, Ramsay. Duty called, and she was expected at the merchant conference, a commitment she could not afford to miss. As the rain lashed against the carriage, Mother Kim shifted her focus to the future. A critical rescue operation for the last known birds of their kind awaited her in Arcadina. It was a perilous journey, but necessary. While royalty traveled, shadows moved. 6 men, posing as visitors, arrived at the gates of the West Persona prison. They had one target in mind, the legendary inmate known as the Baker, Marlowe Jones. The prison security was unforgiving. Despite the bureaucratic hoops and the intense scrutiny of the guards, the group pressed on, securing a brief 5-minute visitation window with Marlowe Jones. They finally reached the heart of the prison. Inside his luminous white cell, the infamous Baker, Marlowe Jones, remained a terrifying specimen of strength, still training with ferocious intensity despite his confinement. The encounter was tense. Marlowe was not the same man he once was, yet his aura of villainy remained absolute. He dismissed their rescue attempts, knowing the prison was far more secure than they could ever comprehend. Across the continent in the Tsar Empire, the atmosphere was far more chaotic. Under the cover of a thunderstorm, restless nobles gathered in a secret underground hall, plotting to reclaim their power from the Baymardian influence. In the shadows of the Knighthood Academy, Vittorio Helting watched the unfolding drama with calculated patience. He was the heir to an exiled bloodline, biding his time to strike and claim the throne for himself. Lord Ichabod's relaxation was shattered when the doors to his hall were blasted open. Warden Samantha had arrived, and her presence immediately filled the room with an authority that left the noble gasping in terror. Samantha's message was chillingly simple. Peace was an option, but treason would have consequences. Ichabod, thoroughly intimidated, realized he was utterly outmatched by her lethal efficiency. Meanwhile, in the Soma Empire, the situation was dire. The capital stood on the brink of collapse as the armies of Adonis pressed forward, testing the resolve of the giants who had protected their home for centuries. The enemy tactics were relentless. They rotated their forces day and night, choking the city's supplies. The giants fought with everything they had, yet they were running out of time and gunpowder. Just as all hope seemed lost, a thunderous roar broke across the plains. Baymardian vehicles arrived, turning the tide with technology the giants had never dreamed of, tearing through the Adonis siege lines. The battle turned into a rout. The invaders were systematically dismantled, their morale shattered by the overwhelming superiority of the Baymardian weapons, leaving the cardinal in a state of frantic rage. The central command fell. Landon, Lucius, and Prince Artemis confronted the defeated Cardinal Everett. The tide had turned, and the survivors of the Adonis army were left to contemplate their swift and total defeat. The giants were a vengeful people. For their fallen brothers, they made sure the invaders felt the weight of their wrath, delivering blow after blow to the man who led their empire into this disaster. The gates finally opened to a scene of jubilation. King Timothy reunited with his son, the victory secured not just by their own resolve, but by the unexpected and timely intervention of their powerful new allies. Inside the Baymardian vehicles, the giants were treated to wonders they could not comprehend. From the soft beds to the magic of the light bulbs, they were completely enthralled by the technological marvels presented to them. The arrival at the palace was a triumphant parade. The people of the capital cheered, their fear replaced by admiration for the metal carriages that had brought their heroes home safely. Inside the palace, even the king was not immune to the charm of the new technology. He found himself utterly fascinated by the mirror, a device that reflected his nobility with unprecedented clarity. Meanwhile, back in Douglas City, the Grand Trigon Hotel was in a frantic state of preparation. Queen Lucy was expected, and the establishment was pushing itself to the limit to meet the standards of the Baymardian visitors. Lucy arrived, the center of all attention. Her grace was effortless, capturing the hearts of both her own guards and the curious onlookers who had gathered to catch a glimpse of the Baymardian queen. Yet hidden among the crowds were the witches. They watched Lucy with cold, calculated eyes from their room above the entrance, waiting for the perfect moment to execute their revenge. But Lucy was being watched by more than just the witches. From another window, Sebastian observed her with a strange, dark intensity, his mind already spinning plots to make the queen his own. As the sun set over Douglas City, the stage was set for betrayal and intrigue. With the treaty signed and the future of two empires hanging in the balance, no one realized how close the storm truly was.